And now for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 43 to 47.
The breeze whipped Aaron's hair, and the sun dazzled his eyes as he helped his father Jacob haul their boat up on the shore.
Well, your first night out on the boat, son. You must be ready for a nap.
No way! I have to show everyone! Aaron held up his prize catch, a 2-foot-long silvery fish weighing nearly 5 pounds. Mark's never caught a fish like this, or Demas.
Oh, just make sure it gets home to your mother so she can turn that fella into dinner. Now, I must patch this hole in the net. Hey, why don't you run along? I'll catch up.
Aaron darted down the road, clutching the heavy fish. He imagined the amazement on his friends' faces as he just casually strolled up with this massive fish.
Oh, it's nothing really. I mean, I've caught bigger.
Hey, fish face.
Aaron's head jerked up to see Caleb's grubby form blocking his path.
Aw, taking a little fish home to mommy.
Just let me by, okay? No one liked Caleb. He shoved little kids and kicked dogs. In fact, he never seemed to do anything but just hang around and make trouble.
You already smell like sardines. You don't need another fish.
And with that, Caleb swiped Aaron's prize fish and began to run. Hey! Aaron took off after Caleb, his sandals pounding against the packed dirt. Give that back!
No way! I'm officially ahead of you.
The ground began to rise as Caleb veered away from the village and ran off up the mountain. Aaron's steps slowed as they climbed. After all, he'd be working hard all night with no sleep. Please, just let me have it back.
Quit carping about it.
As the boys plunged around the next curve, a broad field spread out ahead. Hundreds of people were there, focused on one man standing under an olive tree. What's going on? As Aaron stopped to catch his breath, Caleb dove into the crowd, stepping on toes as the big fish slapped against people.
Remove that thing from my presence. That's my foot, boy.
Shh, I'm trying to hear Jesus.
Aaron remembered his father talking about Jesus, a great teacher and healer. But he didn't have time to think as he forged ahead into the crowd, trying to track Caleb.
Oh, do mind your manners.
That's my other foot, boy.
Shh, all of you.
Aaron glanced up. He couldn't see Caleb anywhere now, but Jesus was closer. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbor, hate your enemy. No kidding. But here is what I tell you. Love your enemies. Pray for those who hurt you. Then you will be sons of your Father who is in heaven.
Wait, what? He's been saying things like this all day.
Does this mean I ought to be nice to my brother, even though he still gives me noogies?
If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? If you greet only your own people, what more are you doing than others? Aaron was so tired. He couldn't latch onto the words. He needed room to think. So carefully, he edged his way out of the crowd and started on his way home. And maybe Jesus was right. I mean, after all, it was easy to love his mom, who cooked all his meals, and his friends, who all liked him. It would be a lot harder to love somebody like...
Hey, fish lips.
Caleb was perched high on a rock overlooking the road, dangling the fish just out of Aaron's reach.
Oh,
You just wait! Aaron glared. He imagined grabbing that fish and slapping it across Caleb's smirking face.
here, fishy, fishy, fishy.
Caleb deserved to be dragged off of that rock, but as Aaron's muscles tensed to climb, the words of Jesus echoed in his ears. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Aaron took a deep breath and planted himself firmly on the path. He stared up into Caleb's mocking face and his prize fish just out of reach.
What's wrong? Cat got your tongue? Swallowed a salmon whole?
Caleb brandished the fish right in front of Aaron's nose.
It's okay, Caleb. You can keep the fish.
Caleb was so startled, he dropped the fish. It plopped down on the road at Aaron's feet.
Wait. Hey, fine. Yeah, I didn't want it anyway.
Aaron took a good look at Caleb's face. It was thin and pinched, like he didn't get enough to eat. He picked up the fish and held it up.
No, really. You can have it.
Caleb hesitated, waiting for some kind of trick.
Tilapia's really good if you just broil it over the fire. Or in fish stew. I love fish stew.
He held the fish up higher. Slowly, Caleb reached up and clutched the tail.
Well, I'm not hungry or anything. I'm just taking it so you don't smell like fish.
Sure. Hey, Dad and I go fishing at night. You know, you could come along sometime. If you want to learn to catch your own fish.
Caleb could only nod, dumbfounded.
Well, see you around.
And with that, Aaron headed back down the mountainside. He was disappointed that he couldn't show the fish to his friends, but he could catch another one. Now Caleb would have a good meal for once, and instead of burning up with anger, Aaron felt, well, peaceful inside. And he was ready for a long nap too, because loving your enemies proved even harder than fishing all night.